Imagine a lone traveler walking across endless landscapes. His cloak is tattered, his boots are worn, and yet in his eyes burns the quiet fire of someone who knows far more than he should. They call him the traveler who carried 1,000 secrets. But no one ever asked, whose secrets were they? His own or the world's? Today, we uncover the tale of a wanderer whose journey was not just across mountains and deserts, but through the fragile line between hope and despair, between light and shadows. This is not just a story, it is a reflection of the hidden battles inside every soul, including yours. The story begins in a village that no longer exists, a place swallowed by time, forgotten even in history books. From the ruins of that place came a boy, nameless to most, faceless to many. He had no title, no wealth, no family to call his own, and yet he was entrusted, by fate or by something greater, with secrets too vast for any child to bear. These secrets were not whispers, they were burdens. They were stories of entire civilizations, etched into fragments of paper, carved into old relics, sung through forgotten lullabies. And he carried them all. With each passing year, the boy turned into a young man, and the young man into the traveler. His life was not measured in days, but in the weight of the truths he carried. People saw only the dust on his cloak, but never the storm within his heart. Why did he carry them? Why not let go? Because each secret was a flame, and flames, once extinguished, are lost forever. The traveler believed that even if no one cared, even if the world moved on, the truth deserved to survive. And so he wandered, from city to city, mountain to mountain, whispering forgotten tales to those willing to listen. But here is the irony. The more secrets he carried, the lonelier he became. Imagine holding the voices of thousands and yet being unable to share your own. That was his curse. And yet, within that curse lay his strength. Every betrayal, every scar, every night under a starless sky taught him resilience. His secrets became shields, his memories became weapons, his silence became his loudest cry. One night, by the fire of a merchant's caravan, a young child asked him, "Traveler, what is the heaviest thing you carry?" He smiled, and for the first time in years, he answered honestly, "The heaviest thing is hope, because when you carry hope, you cannot drop it. People are counting on you, even if they don't know it yet." The caravan fell silent. Some laughed at his strange words, others thought him mad. But the child understood. And in that moment, the traveler realized that sometimes a single soul is enough to justify the weight of 1,000 secrets. That was the first lesson of his journey, that no secret, no burden, is wasted if it sparks even a flicker of light in another's heart. The traveler's path was not an easy one. Every city he entered was a gamble. Some greeted him as a prophet, others as a fraud. He was often asked to reveal the secrets he carried, but he knew too well that knowledge, like fire, could burn if placed in the wrong hands. Once, in a city of marble towers and golden gates, the traveler was summoned before a council of lords. They had heard whispers that he knew truths buried in their history, truths that might weaken their power. "Speak," demanded the eldest lord, his voice sharp. "Tell us what you know of our ancestors." The traveler's eyes, weary but unbroken, met the council's gaze. He said only, "Your ancestors built this city not on gold, but on betrayal. The foundation is blood. If you truly wish to honor them, change how you rule now, not how you pretend they ruled then." The chamber erupted. Some gasped in outrage, others sat in stunned silence. The traveler was banished, cast out with nothing but his cloak and his satchel of secrets. Yet, as he walked away, he felt no anger, for even rejection was a kind of proof that the truth still had power. But rejection cut deeper than swords. Alone in the desert beyond the city's walls, he whispered to himself, "Secrets are not always welcomed, but silence is far worse." And so he pressed on, the weight heavier, but his resolve unshaken. Though his path was lonely, fate often placed companions in his way, some for a day, others for a lifetime. There was Leora, a healer who found him half-starved by the roadside. She offered him bread and asked nothing in return. Yet when she learned he carried secrets, she asked only one question. "Do you carry your own secret too, traveler?" He hesitated. For the first time he admitted, "Yes, the greatest secret I carry is why I keep walking." Then there was Kyle, a swordsman haunted by battles long past. Kyle believed the traveler's secrets might offer redemption. "Tell me," Kyle demanded one night by the fire, "is there forgiveness written in those tales you guard?" The traveler answered gently, "Forgiveness is not found in stories. It is written by the living, not the dead." These companions came and went, like passing seasons. Some died, some stayed behind, some betrayed him. But each encounter left a mark. Each conversation etched another scar into his soul. The traveler learned that though he carried 1,000 secrets, he was not the only one burdened. Everyone carried something. The weight was simply invisible. The heaviest wound he carried was betrayal. A companion he trusted once sold him out to mercenaries, believing the traveler's satchel held treasures of gold or jewels. When they tore it open, all they found were fragments of parchment, ancient scrolls, whispers of forgotten history. "Worthless," one sneered. They beat him and left him bleeding in the dust. The betrayer stood over him, ashamed, whispering, "Why guard these scraps? Why not live free?" The traveler, blood staining his lips, whispered back, "Because freedom without truth is only another prison." That night, under the shadow of betrayal, he realized a brutal truth. Not all could understand the value of what he carried, and yet, even in pain, he refused to hate. For hate was just another chain, and his journey was one of release. Years passed. His body grew older, his pace slower, but his satchel never lightened. One day, he reached a mountain no map had ever named. The villagers at its base warned him, "None who climb return. The mountain swallows those who seek its peak." The traveler only smiled. "Then perhaps this mountain keeps secrets too, and I must meet them." The climb was brutal. Storms raged, rocks cut into his hands, the air thinned with each step. But on the summit, he found not death, but silence. And in that silence, he understood. He was not carrying secrets for the world. He was carrying them for himself, to prove that even in a life of exile, betrayal, and solitude, he could still choose purpose over despair. He knelt, laying his satchel on the ground. The wind lifted scraps of parchment into the air, scattering them like seeds. He did not chase them, he let them fly. For the first time, he realized the burden was never about holding on. It was about knowing when to let go. From that day, the traveler no longer carried the satchel, but he carried something greater, the lessons those secrets had carved into his soul. He walked into towns no longer as a wanderer, but as a storyteller. His words painted worlds of forgotten kings, of mothers who gave their last breath for their children, of warriors who chose peace instead of war. Children sat wide-eyed at his feet. Elders wept quietly in the back of the crowd. People began to say, "He is not a man who carries secrets. He is a man who plants them so that we may grow." And so the traveler's burden transformed. The 1,000 secrets he once carried became 1,000 seeds, scattered across the world, growing into forests of wisdom. Years later, the traveler's hair turned silver, his steps slower than before. But his voice still carried the strength of mountains. On his final night under a sky full of stars, he whispered to the wind, "I was once a boy who carried secrets. Now I am an old man who carried life. And if one child finds courage because of my stories, then the wait was worth it." As dawn broke, he lay down upon the earth, his cloak wrapped around him. He closed his eyes, not in defeat, but in peace. When villagers found him, there was no satchel, no scrolls, no relics, only a smile on his face and words carved into the dirt beside him. "Do not fear the secrets you carry. Fear only forgetting why you carried them." The traveler's tale became legend, and even though his body turned to dust, his secrets lived on, not in scrolls, but in hearts. And so ends the story of the traveler who carried 1,000 secrets, a tale of burden, betrayal, resilience, and the transformation of pain into purpose. His journey reminds us that no matter how heavy our secrets, our scars, or our past may be, they are not chains, they are seeds. You too are a traveler. You carry burdens unseen, and within you lies the power to turn them into legacies. If this story touched your heart, let it guide your path. And remember, subscribe to Anime Odyssey for more tales that ignite your spirit. And like this video so that others may find it too. The journey does not end here. It continues with you.